Hi guys, this is a video answering the question, why Mobile Phone 2003? Those of you waiting for tutorials, they will be coming soon. I just want to have a little break and do some different style videos from all the ones that I've been doing. So this is just going to answer why I have my username on YouTube as Mobile Phone 2003. I did answer this briefly before, saying that I had a Hotmail account. I signed up for MSN back in 2003, and in 1999 I had a Yahoo account. But what I'm going to do is take a trip down memory lane and talk about some of the phones I used to have. I used to trade them with people at school. I used to sell loads of them on eBay. I wish I could get access to my feedback, because I know they wipe it after 90 days. You can't see anything less than that. But I wish I could see my feedback just to see how many phones I've actually had, because I've just brought up about 13 phones that I used to use, and that's not even half of what I remember having, so I'm just going to do it just so you guys don't get bored. So the first one I've ever had is the Sagem RC815. This was brought to me by my dad, and if you guys can think about your phones right now, and when you get a text message you press read and you can pretty much see all of it on your screen. This was just one line. You had to scroll, you had to keep pressing right just to see the entire text. So that was my first ever phone, which must have been in 1999, 10 years ago. But yeah, that was the first phone I had. They used to flash, used to get a little light in the corner. I know some phones probably still do this, I don't know, but there's quite a lot of phones that I'm talking about now which did do that. So the second one was a Philips C12. That was quite a nice phone. There used to be a little hack. You used to, while you're sending a text message to someone, you'd hold the off button and it would send that text for free, because it wouldn't show up your balance, especially on that phone. These are all UK phones, by the way, and yeah, it would send it for free. So every single time I'd just turn it off and I'd have free text forever, bearing in mind that back in the day that texts were like 12p. I think they've gone down, and we get text bundles now, but back in the day you used to have to pay per text, even though it was like what, 120 characters, so what, 12 kilobytes of data or whatever, but whatever, yeah, you used to pay that much just to send a message to someone. So the next one, which was a absolutely brilliant phone, I think it was probably one of my favourites, was the 3210. That brought in the ringtone composer, and also used to get customizations. You used to get like downloadable operator logos, so instead of whatever your network said, you used to get like a graphic. You could like even make your own. You used to do that online, but it used to cost so much to send it to the phone. And also you could change the covers on it, or fascias they used to call them, and I remember going on holiday and there used to be stalls full of them, all these different fascias. You could have like, I don't know, Bugs Bunny and like random things. So then it became the 3310, which I believe brought in Snake 2, which I forgot to mention. Snake, that was a brilliant thing on the 3210. But with Snake 2 you could obviously go through the walls, so that was a good fun game. Then there was the 3410, which looked a lot uglier. I like the 3310. That didn't have as many fascias or changeable covers, but it did have them, and so did the 3410, but not as much as the 3210 as far as I know. That was the most popular one. But the 3410 was a little bit uglier, but I think it had some extra features. I don't think that brought in the polyphonic ringtones. I think that was the 3510 that brought in polyphonic. So these are all, you know the Nokia ringtones. You know the message that goes duh 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 duh. That one, yeah, that was so annoying back in the day. So I used to have other mates than Nokia, obviously. I had a Samsung T100. This was a nice fat flip phone that had polyphonic ringtones. I think that was one of the first colour screen phones I got. It had also the other screen on the front. For some reason I thought that was amazing. Yeah, I used to have one of them. I had a C333, which I managed to drop down the toilet. This is a Motorola one. I got a message and I read it just as I was flushing the toilet, and I dropped it down the toilet. I know it sounds disgusting, but this was years and years and years ago, and so yeah, I managed to drop it down. You can imagine, like, I'm sure lots of people who have managed to drop it in the bath or the sink or whatever. So yes, I know it's quite embarrassing, but yeah, it did happen to me, and I did actually like that phone. It was a nice small phone, looked quite expensive for what it was, which wasn't expensive. A lot of these phones weren't expensive, well, not compared to an iPhone now for £450 for a phone. So the next one was a V220. Again, that was a flip phone, and it was a Motorola phone. It was also a colour screen. It was a tiny screen. It was slow as hell. But there was a little hack with that. You used to be able to, I think you pressed like 2 hashes at the beginning. I found this out randomly, and I was going to post it on the web when I first ever went on the web. No one else did this, but you used to do some sort of thing where it used to flash if someone else had one. Because back in the day when I had my ex-girlfriend, I used to send her a message and it used to flash on the front screen. So I don't even know if phones do that nowadays, if flip phones do that, but yeah. The next one was an N-Gage. I used to love playing games on the N-Gage. It was that little taco style phone. It was like, I don't know if you, it's sort of that shape. I'll provide all the links again in the description. But if you had to answer a call and you didn't have your hands-free kit, you used to actually do that, like you were talking to a taco. So it's quite funny. But it did do really good games and had a nice music player. I remember playing Tomb Raider and things like that on it. It's brilliant. The next one was a Virgin, this is the network version, Virgin Lobster 485. This was the tiniest phone I've ever had. It was literally like that big, which may look a bit big on the video, but it was tiny. And it had a colour front screen and the colour, you know, top screen. But I could never get a photo on that top screen. You used to have just the pre ones that had like clocks on them. So yeah, and the oh god, the keys on that was tiny. Then came the Lobster 575, so I bought that as an upgrade, and the keys were a little bit bigger, and it's a little bit bigger, and it had a better camera, but it wasn't that much different, to be honest. Then came the Orange SPV. Now, again, these are only things that I remember. This isn't all of the ones I've ever had. The SPV was the best phone ever, because I figured out how to work it as a modem for my computer, and I was never allowed to have a landline back in those days, or even have an internet connection. So using that SPV to connect my computer to the internet was amazing. I loved that. That was the best thing ever. Since then I've been using phones as GPRS modems. I've used this as one with a laptop, so I mean, that wasn't really that long ago, to be honest, but yeah. Then I had a Motorola, I think it was after that anyway, I had a Motorola 8835, and I believe I did make a post, I think it was 2006, 7? But it was literally repaired 8 times. I went in the shop, which was the 3 shop, because that's the one that does 3G in the UK. I literally went in there and they'd know my name and they'd know what had happened, and straight away they'd go through the process of doing it. I wouldn't even have to tell them what happened, because the mobile would break every 5 seconds. Either wouldn't turn on, the keys wouldn't work, anything like that. And it was huge as well. It was like that big. This is possibly the worst phone I've ever had. So Motorola 8835, that was slow as hell as well. Then bringing it more up to date, I had an LG Beauty, which was that little touchscreen one. Not touchscreen, touch sensitive key one. I'm sure some of you guys may still have it. I know my girlfriend now has one, and I'd never really got on with that, to be honest. And then I had the LG Beauty, which I had for a total of a day before I put it on eBay. I couldn't get on with the touchscreen on that. I then just bought an iPhone, I think, because as you know, I've had the iPhone first generation, and also I've had the iPhone 2G, which was the one with GPRS, and I've had the iPhone 3G. I haven't bought a 3GS because the price is just getting insane now. And I've recently actually ordered a Nokia 5530 Express Music. That's one I've actually ordered today, hopefully getting it tomorrow. It's kind of like the iPhone, it's got the same sort of scrolling stuff, and apparently it's quite fast, it's highly rated, and battery's good because it doesn't have 3G, which may be a downer for some people, but yes, it has good battery life apparently, so I'll see if you guys want a review on the new phone, the 5530, then feel free to leave a comment or something saying that you'd like a review. But yeah, this is the reason that I'm called Mobilephone2003. I've had so many mobile phones, I've traded them, I've sold them, I've bought them. That's how I got my name, and I know it's not really related to anything to do with my YouTube channel with computers, which I mostly talk about. I do have some iPhone stuff in there, but that's the reason why I've got it, and that's why it's stuck with me for so long. So that's about it really. Thanks for watching this video. If you've watched all this way, then please type "I want a Nokia 3210" in the comments. So thanks for watching my video. Please comment, rate, tell me what your phones are. I'd love to know. Respond, and thanks for watching.